Hello, so today's Bible verse to store up in our mind and in our memory is 1 Samuel 16 verse 7, and this is about our heart. So the heart is like the inside of us, what really matters, what we love and what we think. So this verse, it is God talking to Samuel, and he's talking about when Samuel is finding a new king. The Lord said unto Samuel, look not on his countenance, it's like his face, or on the height of his stature, how tall he is, because I have refused him. For the Lord seeth not as man seeth. For man looketh on the outward appearance, but the Lord looketh on the heart. So when God sees people, he sees inside of them, whereas we see that what they look like on the outside, and other people see what we look on the outside, but God sees right inside, and it is the inside that really matters. Now this week we went shopping to the op shop, and Esther brought a wig, and she came out and stood by me with this wig on, and she looked completely different, and it actually gave me a fright. So I'm going to show you some photos of my children and what they looked like when they were dressed up in disguises, because they disguised themselves, putting on wigs and hats and stuff, and it made them look really different. So we can make ourselves look different to other people, but God sees inside. And we can easily pretend to be something that we're not. Like Ananias and Sapphira, they pretended to be really generous people, giving away all their money. And yet God saw inside their hearts, and he was not pleased because they were pretending to be something different than what they were. And Judas was another one. He was pretending to be a follower of Jesus, whereas inside where God saw, he was not. So I'll show you how to sing this song, and then I'll show you some photos of my children in their disguises, and you can see how different we can look when we wear disguises. And we need to remember that God sees inside of us, and it's what's inside of us that is most important. Look not on his countenance, or on the height of the stature, because I have refused him. For the Lord seeth not as man seeth, for the Lord seeth not as man seeth, for the Lord seeth not as man seeth. For man looketh on the outward appearance, but the Lord looketh on the heart. So don't pretend to be what you're not. And remember that God sees inside of us, and it is what's inside of us that's most important. What's most important is not how pretty or how beautiful we are, it's how beautiful we are inside, which shows in what we do and in our actions. Not on his countenance, or on the height of the stature, because I have refused him. For the Lord seeth not as man seeth, for the Lord seeth not as man seeth, for the Lord seeth not as man seeth. For man looketh on the outward appearance, but the Lord looketh on the heart. Not on his countenance, or on the height of the stature, because I have refused him. For the Lord seeth not as man seeth, for the Lord seeth not as man seeth, for the Lord seeth not as man seeth. For man looketh on the outward appearance, but the Lord looketh on the heart. With disguises, you can trick other people, but we can never trick God. God always sees inside of us. So we may trick other people, we may tell lies and get other people to believe what's not true. We may pretend to be something that we're not, but God always sees inside of us. So we can never trick God.